So today we are going to talk about internet programming. So am I audible? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So first we'll start with a FTP module. So what is FTP module? It's a file transfer protocol, right? So in Python we have a FTP plugin by default is there. Just say import FTP lib. So this helps us to transfer a data files from one to another inside our network, right? So that is what FTP going to do. Okay, so to make it more simple, so Python has its own thing, that is Python hyphen HTTP server. Okay, so this will start in some port. So what happen if you are in the same network? We can use this IP address to download a file from one machine to another. So it is better than that FTP. So FTP is for a within a network. So but they have a simple HTTP server. You can use that instead of, right. Or if you want to make it as a program for develop end users like customers, you can go with FTP lib library. So just which I have shown before. You can use with that FTP lib library. So, how to use this? Any guesses? So I have ran this Python simple HTTP server. How to use this? You have to go to this IP address. So the IP address is what? Your local IP address. That is, if you are running in your own machine, you can go with 127. The port is 80. Okay. So the port is what? The port is 8000. That is a default port for Python, and this is enough. But if you are a network, this will always give you your own IP address. So this is actually listening your own IP. So this is not someone else. So if someone else want to explore your files, you have to check that. So this is my IP address in the network 192.168. That is INET address. So use that instead. So with the help of this, you can able to download a file from one to another. So I can download the files which is available in their machines. So if it is a folder look like this, I have to click that folder, and if I click that, the file will be downloaded. So here it is opening. Sure, I'm yesterday asked you one quick thing. I did not understand properly. I have gone through that audio once again. I get to know that. So you asked me like that database row is like in Pythonic it is a list, right? Shivaram, Shivaram, are you there?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah. So actually, you asked me right that one is that SQL rows are like a Pythonic list. Yes, it is actually. So whenever you getting the data, it will be look like a list. So you
Yes.
will get it as a list. Okay. And but if in a Pythonic we won't we won't able to consider as a list as a data structure, because we never know the data belongs to which column or which key. So that's why we are actually framing that list into dictionary using zip, zip function. So with the help of zip function, we took that header and we use that each rows as a list, and we binding it together to frame a dictionary. So by default it is a Python list only.
Thank you.
So this will work. So you have to run where you actually you want to do a data transfer. So this will depends upon the folder where you are in. So here actually I'm in a home location, so it is actually serving my entire home location directory. If I want to send a desktop only, just go to the desktop and run it. So the code is actually running. I have to kill it. So you will get the desktop stuff alone. Okay, so you can choose where you want to expose your folders inside a network. So your content will be visible inside a network alone. So this is help for a data transfer. So everyone can download from your link. So this is a shareable link between a network, only inside a same network. That is, if you are in a Wi-Fi or a wide connection or in office, so this will works. Got it? So, but this one is for a Python 2 or 3. Is this Python 2 or 3? So in my computer, this is a Python 2. Okay, because I'm using Python 2 versions. So for Python 3, we have to use. So the Python 3, the syntax for differ. You have to say Python 3. Hyphen M means what? Any guesses? Hyphen M means what? Hyphen M. What might be M? What it is, relate with it. Check the something which is available in right side and check with it M. What it might be. Hello? Am I audible? Am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah. So what it might be.
Yes, you're audible.
Yes, what it is. Hyphen M means. Why we need this? So what is this syntax? When we using this? Hello? Just try something.
To execute Python
Python?
file
That is what? I want a technical answer.
model.
Module. That is what hyphen M means. So by default, this is the syntax command to execute your own file, right? Python 3 space your file name. But this will help us to execute built-in available pre-built-in, so pre-install or available modules. Got it? So this this is resized somewhere else. Say for example, hyphen M random kind of. Got it? So this will take that a random, it will execute that random also. Okay, so this will actually execute your corresponding module. HTTP.server. Okay, so in Python 3 you have to use HTTP.server, but in Python 2 it is simple HTTP server. So note down this so it's a camel case. S caps rest is small and HTTP is caps, S again caps, server is small. Okay, in Python 2. In Python 3 you will find it the same stuff in HTTP.server. Use the same link. So it will look like this. That's it. So when you click that, the file will be downloaded. So you can download it. Got it? Got it? So you can able to do that file transfer between a network. So this is pre-install module. If you want to build your own, if you want to customize it, you can use that ftplib module. Okay. So next we are going to talk about email processing. So we'll tell you socket programming tomorrow. So it is so simple. Uh, I'm looking for another network to demonstrate that. So this is about socket programming. So with the help of socket, what we can do? So we can establish a communication between two different machines. Like if we are using a Facebook chat, the Hangouts, the online chat, WhatsApp, etc. Right? So they are those applications working on top of socket only. socket programming. So what is socket programming? So by default, if you're sending a message and to someone else, if someone else want to receive in traditional method, we have to call that function to get that message in certain frequency. So what happened, you won't get that message instantly. Instead, say for example, you will get the message in 5 minutes, 10 minutes delay kind of. So to overcome that issues, we the concept was arrived called a socket. So with the help of socket, it's called a listener. So it's a peer-to-peer listener. So what happened, this will so it won't consume that much of memory, so it will be like an idle process. It will be peak when it receives some signals. Okay, it will work based on the signals. So it's like a broadcast, emit broadcast. So that is what they are actually using that. So once if users hit that, so the listener actually listening for some input. So once it got some signals, immediately it will start to trigger that functions and something what behind that. So you will immediately receive that message from one user, so whom actually sent to it. Okay, that is called socket programming. So the same is available in Python too. So with the help of socket in Python, we can establish a communication between two different machines. We can communicate between between two machines instantly. Okay, and before moving on, I will explain you what is port and host. Okay, because throughout this internet scripting, we are actually using that host and port. So host is nothing but your machine IP address. Okay, each and every application was hosted on some certain machine. That is what your computer, right? So the computer was identified by host address. Even you can take any website was so. Why we having an IP address? So we have a domain name, right? So we are like a credosystem.com. Why we need an IP address? The reason is so it is difficult to remember the number. So you can easily memorize credosystem.com, google.com, facebook.com. But if I ask you the IP address, because it is but in a human psychologist, it is hard to remember the number always, right? So that's why we have domain name was mapped into that number. So if I ask you the IP address for the site, you never know that, right? So that's why we mapped with some numbers, so we can easily relate with it. So so this is that IP address for the career site website. So if I copy this, and if I paste it, it will redirect to Credo system only. Showing that for Google. So this is IP address for Google. So if we go to that, so they might be restricted that. So that IP will be translated into that corresponding domain. So here they might restricted that. So they are not allowing the IP address. So this is how it is translated. So this is called host address, the IP address. So each application was hosted in certain machine. This is what it is. So the machine. This is what the machine IP address. And what is port? So we can host a number of application in your machine, right? So port is nothing but a gateway. So where you are, so you're actually trying to get into that certain machine, right? And if we don't have a gateway, what happened? The hackers intrude into anywhere else. They can access any of your application, right? So you want them to restrict them. So port is one which going to do that stuff. So with the help of port, so people who want to enter into that setting machine, we can limit them to access that particular application alone. So port is the gateway for that particular application in your machine. So so here it is. in a simple HTTP server that in FTP I have shown you, right, 168 1.5 8000, right? So here 8000 is a port. So within 8000 I can able to access my folders or files from that certain directory. So if I change that port, see, 3000, so this is actually one more instance is running. This will redirect to that application. That is what it's a React application. So it will redirect us to that React. So this is actually in a React application. So I'm actually doing that APIs. So this will actually redirect to my React application. So both was running in my same machine. So in another tab, I'm running that React application. So it will redirect to that application. So both was located in my same machine. And also I have one more Python application which was running in 8010 port. Okay. So this will take to my that application. The same IP address will took you to that. So it will actually take you into that my Python Django application. Got it? So this is called port. It's a gateway. So with the help of this gateway, we can restrict them to access the particular application alone. Got it? So if you want to access this, I need a credential to move on. So this will actually restrict it. So I need a credential to explore it. So without credential, I won't able to move on to that application too. So Google, the application like Google and also that is by default doesn't require authentication. So we can, that's why we can able to search without logged in. In certain point we need to log in. We need to be logged in, like to record your history, maintain your history. Then we need to log in into that applications. Okay. So this is called port. Have you understand what is port and host?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So each of application has its own port. Like for Python, it is by default port is 8000. For MySQL, it is 3306. For PostgreSQL, they will take 5432. For PHP Apache server, they're using 80. For React based application, they're using a 3000 kind of. It is a reserved ports. Reserved means they took some number by default. So the port is varies from 2 digit to 6 digit. So they took something default, but it is not fixed. If you want, we can change it. So I'm actually this also Pythonic application. They have a default port is 80 only, but I have changed it. So if you want, you can change it yourself. So actually, I have changed my port on my own. If I don't give this, it will take the default 8000. So if I set a default 8000, what happened? I won't be able to run two different Python applications with the same port. Got it? You won't be able to run two different applications in the same port. That's why I have changed it. So I can able to run my two different Python application in my same machine. So one in 8010, one was in 8000 default one. Okay. Otherwise, it will raise an error. Like we got some time before, right? It says the port is already it will say something like that. So it won't allow it to run. So the not product could be identified. So the process is already running. So it won't allow us to run it. So it says already in use. The port is already in use. So we won't be able to run it. We need to kill that port to establish the connection once again. Got it? So this is called port. Okay. So next thing is email processing. So what is email processing? So we with the help of Python we can able to send email from your script. Okay. So for that we need a module called SMTP link. So we need that module, and we need Google or any credential, like it is depends upon your email client, what you're actually using it for your email client, and we need that. So what else we needed? I said two things is we needed an internet scripting. What else we needed?
Host and port.
Yeah, host and port. So the email server was hosted in certain location. Got it? So it was located in some certain. Okay. So this is my email server for Gmail. Okay, and this is port which they actually giving. So Gmail knows people are using Gmail to send auto mailing. Like we are all receiving, right, like in some certain, like in the morning, like 6 o'clock, we are receiving some alert mail, some business mail, etc. Right. So if you subscribe, you got auto mail, right? So that is what. So they actually triggering that mail through using this kind of script. Okay, so with the help of script, they are actually triggering that mails. Okay, so it's called an auto scheduler. So we can do that scheduler using a cron top. Is a lot of scheduler program is there. So we can schedule that program to run when we want to execute that script. So it's a script again. So we have to execute the script in certain time. That will be take care by that auto scheduler. So if it is a Linux or a Mac, we're using a cron tab. In Windows, there is a task scheduler is there, so it will take care of executing a script on certain time. Okay, so anyway, you have to write this script. So what to do? First thing is you need to import stb module, smtp lib, and then the next thing is what? Smtp lib dot smtp. So either you can pass your host and port here itself. So what is required? How to find? What is the requirement for this?
Init.
Init constructor, right? So host and port is a default, means it will take my own local, right? If you want to customize, you can pass it inside to start with the host and port, or else we have additional method is there. There you can pass yours. So say for example dot connect. Okay, so you can pass your host and port through this method also. You can pass it here also. Okay, you can use anything, or we can. So this is what they say, this method is automatically invoked by init method, even if you pass host and port automatically in constructor. So we can send smtp.gmail or google.com, smtp.gmail.com, and the port is 587. Okay, now it takes some time to connect. It won't take that much time, so it might be depends upon the network. Oh, sorry, I made a mistake. Where I made a mistake?
Double.com.
Yeah. So here I have shown you the host is what? Some IP address, right? Why they using a domain name instead? Is it possible or not?
Yes, possible.
It's possible because anyway the IP address is going to translate into this domain name only, right? But why they actually using this name instead of IP address? Reason is IP address is fixed number. It is actually dedicated number, the dedicated machine address. But domain name is dynamic, so it will change. It will actually redirect to the corresponding available machine. So you all know Google is used by millions, billions of people, right? So if I fix it with some one machine, what happened? We won't able to handle that millions, billions request, right? So that's why they're giving that domain name instead of IP. So this domain name is dynamically changing that machine IP address whenever the user requests access. So if that machine uh, if that machine was there is a no space for a new user, means it will automatically allocate you the different machine. Got it? So it will be take care by domain name. So it's called auto
So,
scaling. Yeah.
so one domain name will have multiple hosts, right?
Yes. Domain name is what? It is a translator.
Okay.
That is what you said was different. We can map that IP address into the various IP machine address into one domain name.
Okay.
Got it? So that is how. So we are checking that result through online history, right? So we are using this one website, but they won't able to handle that a million record because the lack thousands of people going to check that result in the same time. They won't able to handle that. Whatever certain time the server was down, right? So to handle that, they're using the certain IP, but they will keep changing on that. Sorry, they will use that same domain name, but the IP address will be differed. So what is the least available one? Once it is exhausted. So now it is this IP. Inside, if you check with yours, the IP might be changed.
Do we need any module to execute that ping command?
Ping is available by default in I think all the machines. Even you can try with Windows also.
I tried in my machine, but it's showing syntax error.
Ping
Ping
space.
google.com.
No, it won't say. Maybe you have tried with the Python inside of Python. Then only you got a syntax error. If you tried inside, so does it? That is a shell script, not in a Python. Now you will get a syntax error. It is not a Python command.
Okay.
It is a shell script. Okay. Now, yeah, I got connected. So once you connected, you need to log into your account. Okay. S dot login. I need to log in using what? Using our credentials, username and password. I need to send my username and password. So before that, I have to say that instance dot start TLS. It's a secure transaction mode. We have to tell the Google, so this is secure mode, so you can allow. So now it is ready to start. Otherwise, Google won't allow. So Google won't trusted your connection. So we have to use this module to initiate. This is secure mode, and then you have to log in using our credential. If you get some say such error, we need to enable this. So I not change the password. This is sample mail created for a email purpose. So to send a mail, to send and retrieve a mail. That only. So yeah, we have to enable that. So if it says such error, we need to enable that. Actually, give you some certain link.
Bro,
Yes.
the ping command is Linux command or Python command?
No, it is a shell command.
Shell
It
command.
will work, yeah, it will work with the Linux and everything.
Okay, if I want to execute the shell command means in Python, we can use os.system, right?
Yes.
I used that method also, but os.system, then in bracket I used ping google.com.
Instead of OS.system.
Ping google.com. Oh, we need to put codes on.
Yes. Because it's input, right? That is input.
Okay.
So please mute yourself, Vijay.
இப்போ இன்னும் ஒரு மாசம் டைம் இருக்கு எனக்கு.
Vijay, mute yourself, please.
27 அவங்களுக்கு முடியுது அப்படின்னா
Hello. So to send a mail, we have to enable this less secure app. Okay. So go to that your. So you need to log into your account. So you need to say allow less secure app. When you turned on, then only you can able to log in through using your credentials. Okay. So next time we don't ask you that. So next you can start sending your email. Sorry. You start send mail. So in this command, we can start sending a mail. The firm is what? The credo sample mail.com. So two can be list or a string, anything. If you have only one reception, you can use string. If you have more than one, you can use a list. So more than one people will receive a mail at the same time. Okay. So I have sent a mail. Let me check. Yes, I received. Got it? So I trigger a mail from my script. Understand? So you have to first enable your. So enable, if not, if you won't able to log in, you need to enable this. Okay. So what is that command? First, you need to import SMTP-lib module, followed by we have to instantiate SMTP, or you can pause your host and code here itself, smtp.gmail.com. The 587 is a port for Gmail. You need to assign it to some variable name. Sorry, SMTP-lib. SMTP-lib. Once done, what to do? Start TLS mode, and then you need to log in with your credentials. Once done, you can start sending a mail. That's it. Okay, this is all about your code to send a mail. Inside, in some mail you might notice IDs are beautified by HTML, right? You can do that too. So you have to prepare an HTML and go through that help section for send mail. They have an option for to adopt the HTML also. Got it? So inside a message, we can use that HTML also. It's up to them, up to yours. Okay. So we have a complete documentation. So even so, you can send your mail in a beautiful manner with the help of HTML also. Got it? So understand this module.
Yes, sir.
So we need these things. So try with yours credentials. Okay. So let's move on to the next topic.
Hello.
Yes.
What is TLS? TLS
Pardon?
means TLS.
So this is they are for security purpose they are using that. So it is dedicated with that some certain mode. It's a secure transaction mode, I guess. Transport layer security. It's a security for they using that. So it is dedicated with that port. So it is deals with that 587. For they have another port called 465. For that they are using SSL mode. So it is a security algorithm, I guess.
Okay. So SSL also like that TSL, right?
Yes, yes. So if it is SSL, you have to use this different port.
Okay.
So next thing is building a website with Python. For that, I will demonstrate with the Django the basics. So with the help of Django, we can develop our own so we can create a Pythonic website using a Django. So I'll showcase that basics of it. For that, we need a package called Django. Pip install, say Django. The application will be installed in your machine. So I'm already having that. So I don't need to install it. So I'm already having. Okay. Or once done, you have to say Django admin. So it will be you have to use this command Django admin space start project your project name. I have to say July 20 is my project name. See that the folder was created July 20. Okay, so go to that folder. You will find two files. One is the July 20 and then manage.py. So we have, so this is our Django applications. I'll open that. Right? Yeah. So this is how your basic Django application look like. It contains the settings py. So where your complete website setting was resides and URLs. This is how you want to redirect into where you want to go to that. So this is a local testing server, WHGA server. This is called a WHGA server. So it's a local testing server and manage.py where your application is going to start. Okay, let's start with it. So to run that application, go to the folder and say Python manage.py file space. If you don't say anything, it will show you the options. What are the available options? We have this much of option available. So to run that application, just say run server. Again, I said Python will take the default port, right? So it will take the default host and port. If you want to customize, you have to give that corresponding host name and port name. So already it will take a default 8000 port. If you want to change, you can change it like this. Okay, and it will take a default 8000 port. Yeah, this is my very first Django Pythonic application. So we can start customizing it by go to your folder. So this is your basic application. So now what to do? You have to create so application inside yours. Say Django again. Start app. You can name your application. Say, just say July. The folder will be created inside The folder contains certain things. It's called like a models view template. Okay, what is model? Model is called a ORM. I said ORM. ORM is nothing but an object relational model. So what is the usage of ORM? So ORM is actually deal with communicating with the database. Okay, so if you are using a Django or any Python web framework, you don't need a SQL knowledge or a database knowledge. That will be deal with ORM itself. If you know Python, that is more than enough. So ORM will deal with SQL database without its knowledge. Okay, so we have to create more like a, how to say, class student models dot model STUID models dot say primary key equal to true, and STU name I'll take a sample DB. Okay, so I'm going to create a student without giving any piece of SQL query. See that? So okay, enough of it. So this is going to be my table name. So we're done with it. Now I'm going to do settings where I want. So if you don't give any settings, it will take a default SQLite table, and otherwise you have to do setting yourself settings. And I need to add my application. So this is my application, right? I've created that application. So you need to add your install application, and then in a database I need to configure. Okay, if it is a MySQL, we have to use the MySQL engine. Disable this. So we have to give that name host. So host is default, and port is what, 3306, and user password, user is root. So I don't need this too. That's it. Okay, done with database. So this my settings, and I created a table. Let's see. So once you're done with your table, say Python space manage.py make migration. So this is so the migration is going to take we're going to do the conversion between your Python code into SQL. So whenever we make changes in it, so this will actually create a migration script. So once done, we have to migrate. So what happened? The table will be generated. So the table was generated. If you check that, you will find it out. See, previously it is 16, now it is 17. The table was created. Understand? You got it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So this is what ORM means. Have you understand the ORM? So I never used any single SQL query. I used a Python. I did it in a Pythonic way. What happened? This SQL but we need a SQL to create SQL table and all. But that will be taken care by Django. That is called ORM, Object Relational Model. We have to create a model. The rest will be taken care by Django itself. Okay. And if you want to do the transaction, we need to do it in a views. Okay. That is views. What views about it? Okay. And if you want any view URL, just say URL or the raw string, and the home page I'm saying, go to so we need to say the view from views import. I'll say star as of now. I'll say home view, or I'll say the anything, the home. Okay, it can be a class or a function, it's up to you. So say home. Okay, now go to view, create anything like a function or a class, it's up to you. Just say home. Request is an input for this. What is the request? Request going to capture all of your HTTP request. What is actually you're sending from that, and I can return HTTP response. So now we'll move on to browser. Let's say home. Okay, sorry, the application was closed. I will run this application once again. I have to run this once again. No model name views. Okay. Say dot before, because you are in the same directory. Just use this. Oh, sorry, I'm in a URL. Sorry. So where the view file resides. So I'm in a different directory. So URL was in July 20, view was in July, right? What to do? I should say July dot views. I made a mistake. Yeah, now it takes. Okay, see now it takes. Yeah, I have to import this name. See, so in which page it is? View page, right? From Django dot conf dot. It is HTTP. HTTP. Yes. See, it is actually written what I sent. See, in home page it says hi welcome. So you can embed your own HTML file also. So you have to create an HTML, keep it in some certain files. Like I will create folder called template. Okay, inside a template I'm going to keep a file. Okay, so HTTP response will return your dictionary, like your data structures, string, etc. But for this, we have to use a thing called render. Okay, to render your HTML file. And how Python will know your HTML was residing in this folder? We need to do what to do? Just guess something. So I have kept my HTML file inside a folder, right? How Python knows this? Or your Django, how Django knows this? Saying index.html. How, any guesses? Any guesses? Where to do? I told you, right? The one file I said one file. There you have to take care of all of your settings, right? The website, complete website settings. So in your application, there is a file called settings. So here you have to take care of your database setting, application setting, the template, static, etc. So here you have to maintain the template settings. Okay. So add your template URL. So where your template file resides. Okay. So you need this template. I need to add this. Okay. So I have created a folder called templates, right? It base direct, you all know, in path module, you all know that, right? The path module will take care of the current path and it will bind the relative path. Okay, so for relative path, I need a folder. So you have a Python path till this file, till this folder, and hereafter we need a relative path. So this is what relative path. I created a folder called templates. I need to keep the name template. So it will bind the OS path will join it together and it will frame a directory. Okay. Now template will start effect. Let's see. Django shortcuts and everything. Okay. Yeah. So the application was done. Yes. So I have written from my HTML file. So if you made any changes in your HTML, it will start effective. See, I'll say mark you. I can change the color. Understand? A basic website with Python. Any doubts? Any doubts in this? Does it look simple or am I complicate you? Hello?
Kind of complicated.
Pardon?
Kind of complicated.
Okay, so you will get to know if you start practicing it. Got it? So you please make a note of it that steps. What are the steps is there? First, what is the very first step? What is the very first step? What is the very first step?
Create a Django project.
How will you create a Django project? To create it, what do you need it? What do you need actually to create a Django project? What do you need it? To create a Django project, what do you need? What is the requirement?
Package.
The package. So first step was the very first step. You need to install the corresponding package, not just a pipe, not just a Django. If you are using a Flask, you need a Flask. If you are using a PV, you need to use a PV. It is a depends upon the framework which you are using it. Okay. The very first step is to install the dependencies. That is all about. So in your even in your working environment, so you need to figure out the dependencies and installing it. Just install it, the dependencies. Understand?
Yes, sir.
So once you've done the installation, you need to create project Django. What is the command? Django admin say start project, the project name. Okay, so this will create your project folder. Inside a project folder, you will find the same folder name and settings file, URLs and WJ in it, and then one manage.py file in it. Okay, and then next thing is what? Create application. Same command. Start app name. Okay, once done with it, what to do? Next thing, first step, install dependencies, not just Django. So I won't say Django, dependencies. Okay, so in this program I have used a MySQL, right? So I need a MySQL plugin also. In my case, it is pre-installed. That's why I'm not worrying about it. Okay. So for you, it won't work. So in the last session, we have used a MySQL, right? So in yesterday DB session, we have used a MySQL. We need a MySQL package for that. Without MySQL package, you won't be able to connect with it. Got it? So you need that MySQL package. Okay, otherwise you can use the direct default database. It doesn't require any database or so any setup. It does it SQLite doesn't require any kind of your setup. Just by default it will start, it works. Okay, otherwise if you are using MySQL, you need a MySQL setup in your machine. You need to install a MySQL package in it, or if you're using a host, you need the corresponding host port address with the username password. Otherwise, if you just simply go with SQLite, start using SQLite. Okay, I will simply change it into SQLite. Let's see that. I'll showcase you how to do that. So MySQL DBLite file size is this alone. Now I'm going to add my. So what to do? I need to, if I want to store all of my content into SQLite, what to do? What to do? You understand what I'm asking? If you want to store my all of my DB queries and data into SQLite, what to do?
Create a table.
Create a table. Before that, create table is fine. Before that, so I'm saying I'm having a I'm having two TV. I need to watch content from TV1 from TV2. What to do first? Very first thing,
Connectivity.
connectivity. You need to change that connection, right? So you need to change that plug point. So you need to remove that first plug. You need to change the plug into TV2. That is what you have to do. Where to do? So where to do the connection? Where I need to do that connection setting. Where I need to take care of connections. Where I need to, I said everything should be in some place. Why you are struggling to answer?
Settings.
Settings. Go to settings. Okay. Remove the default database stuffs. So this is, I said this is for MySQL, right? Remove everything and just say enable engine and name. Name is what? The base DR says base DR and take the name. This is what it is. It has a default database, so we don't need any DB setup. Just fine. This is fine. Now I'm changing it. Okay. So go to that. Next, what to do? Next, what to do? I need to migrate. Even it says an error, right? You have 14 applied migration. So close your application. Start make migration. It is there. Start migrate. Why it says no migration data? Because we have not touched models, right? If you touch a model, then only the changes will be affected. Then so it will create a script called something like that. Inside a migration to create a script. So we have a migration script. We're supposed to apply that script into your own database. Okay. For that, we need to say migrate. Migrate will communicate between your Python code with a database to do modification. Now the table was created. Let me check. So we don't have any tool to check SQLite DB. So I have installed something called SQLite browser. Okay, I have installed already. So you need a SQLite browser to check your SQLite file. So I'm having SQLite browser. Open it. So open a database. I have to open my database. That is, it was located in. So this is my DB name. Got it? So here I'm having this much of data DB. So these are default table for Django. So Django will create this for authentication and on the login purpose. They have these much of tables. This is what we have created. The student is it created, right? Understand?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So that's it. Okay. And if you want to insert something, you need to go to the view. First, we need that models import from models import student. Okay, to say student dot objects dot create. So we need to pass data in it. Okay, so in the models, what else we need to pass? So this is auto, it's autofill. It is autofill, or now we have set it as an integer. So we have to pass some stu id equal to 1, stu name, let's say address. So others are default ones, so we don't need to worry about that. Just save one. Okay, I've created it. Now I'm going to run my application. Okay, so where I kept my create code, I kept it inside this URL, right? So if you go to that, this URL, nothing works. So if you check that db browse table, so you don't have any records. Okay, now I'm going to that URL because I kept it inside that URL, home URL. DOB require not null. Okay, mobile name required. And then what else? Address we kept it, so no problem. Yes, yeah. So the record was created. Let me check once again. See, the record was created. Understand? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. This is how to create a records. So while clicking the websites, the data was created. Got it? So this is ORM. So I never created any SQL query. So to fetch a record, we need this query, right? We need to use this query to fetch a record. This SQL query. So to fetch a record, I'm just saying object dot all. I will disable this dot object dot all. Okay, I'm just printing it because I don't. If you want to print it in front end, we need to convert it into what? Pythonic structure. Got it. So I'm just printing it in my application. So it will print it here. Let's say. See. So it is how it says. So we can use a dot get or whether is do we have anything called tick. this is what I used, so I'm not putting it. Do we have that field? No, right? It doesn't contain any of our field. So we don't have that. Yeah, this is the one method. We can use this method to convert it into dictionaries. Model to dict, pass this. Anyway, I will print it here as it is. So they say data dot stu name we get. So we can prepare our own, no problem. So name is what? Data dot stu name id data dot stu id address. I think this is what I want. So I will enough with it. Just the address. Okay. So when I print, you will get data object, or you can pass it into the website also. So we need to pass it through Django template. So I will leave it as it is. So I will put it 0. So it is a list actually. That's why it says an error. Yeah. Yes. We got the data. Got it? So maybe that is the problem. So even the model might work. Yes, it works. So actually it was in a list. That's why it says an error. Now it works. So even the model tick also will work. I had to pass. So I took the 0th index alone. So it's returned my data like this. And if you want the data to be present in site, what to do? Just say return HTTP response, pass your data, no data. So JSON respond, I need another. Oh, JSON.coms, yeah. Oops. JSON.coms. Now I can show mine. You can see that JSON in front end also. Got it? So it has a lot. So it is not possible to learn it in a single day. Just showcasing the a demo of it. So if you want to learn Django also, so just ping me in the personally, so I can guide you through it. Got it? So it is you have to choose your way, where you want to go. If you are interested in Django, I will give you the project to start working on it. So I will shown you that what's the advanced topic available in Python. So people who are want to be in uh, data science and all, they want to go to so someone asked me like pandas, so go to that pandas. If you want to be in a web development, just use a Django. And if you want to be a desktop developer, so application developer, go use PySide. So I'm just giving you the ideas. So you have to choose your own way where you want to go. I'm just giving you an idea. So this is one of the idea, that's it. So Django is one of the idea. If you think this is good, choose it. So I will give you the project, start working on it. Got it? So it's about an idea, that's it. Okay. And it is difficult to learn in a single day. Just I did my best to showcase that. That's it. Okay. So any doubts in it? So these are the steps. So create an application name, and then to start application, Python space manage.py, run server. We have a more beyond that. So data dependencies, etc. are there. So for that, go through our recordings. Okay. So any doubts? So any doubts? Hello.
No, sir.
No.
Yeah. So please practice this and let me know if you have any doubts. So start practicing yourself, Django. Okay. And let me know that. So we'll see the advanced topics tomorrow. So we have about to end. So tomorrow we'll talk about advanced topics. So we'll talk about other stuff tomorrow. Okay. So thank you guys. So thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll see you tomorrow.